I'm joined by University of Central Oklahoma offensive tackle Noah Dobson. Noah, thank you for taking time this afternoon to come on and talk to me. Could you start by telling the viewers and listeners out there a little bit about yourself?
So my name's Noah Dobson, of course. Graduated from Carl Albert High School. I'm a four-time football state champ, one-time basketball state champ, and one-time track state champ. Uh, I play offensive line at the University of Central Oklahoma.
Yeah, okay, so you have six rings now. Like that I mean, like what? I mean, people can say they might have one. I mean, you got one for a whole finger and then another finger on the other hand. So, like,
Yeah.
what does it mean to say you're a 6-time state champion?
I'll say I think it means a lot. It means a lot in a way because I just know like the fact that I was able to be a part of great teams and be able to contribute to them great teams and win. That just means the world to me. Not gonna lie.
And from a football standpoint, I mean, four straight. I talked to your teammate Jonathan Mosley. He won 3 straight. You got 4. So, like, how were you all able to keep that hunger after the first and the second and the third? Like, how are you able to keep that same hunger to keep on winning state title after state title?
I would say one thing that we really kept us hungry was the fact like we never really got complacent. Like, of course, in high school you play the same teams, like kind of the same in college, but like even when we would go out there against those teams that wasn't as good, we would still go out there and play against them like it was a state championship. So I feel like that's really what made us who we were when it came to winning state titles.
And how are you all able to kind of avoid that complacency that could set in being that successful year in and year out?
I would say really just the summer. Like the summer, like what our coaches would tell us, like, cause like, yeah, when you win that much, like in a row, like people already they try to put you in there automatically. Like you already a favorite, but our coaches would let us know that just cause that we had a target on our back most of the time, like that everybody wants to beat you. Everybody's going to give you their best. And if you don't give your best, then there's a chance you might lose. So really just the thought of losing is really what did it.
And so, like, how then were you all able to manage that pressure? Because I imagine you have just the given pressure of being a multi-time state champ trying to repeat, but then you're adding pressure on top of that from yourselves to make sure that you repeat. So how did you all kind of manage that and continue to have success?
I would say um, one thing that helped us manage winning, what I say, performance course, Coach Jeff Diamond. We did that every summer. Like there was days we were doing some crazy running, like some crazy lifts, but like just building that camaraderie, like getting through that. Like the fact that everybody on the team really like had a bond and that we were together really made it easier to win.
And I asked both Jonathan and Johnny Bazel the fourth about this now because they both said that the key to success was mainly just the hard work you all put in. Would that be an accurate statement, or was there more to it?
I feel like I completely agree with that. Like just like there's a saying that goes around at Carl Albert and through performance course that consistency is the mark of a champion. And I feel like us being consistently good week in and week out in the regular season and then in the playoffs really is the reason why like we were able to do what we were able to do.
Now, and then looking at you individually, I got to say, when I watched your film on signing day, I did not expect to see a man of your size pulling and laying guys out to that degree. So I got to ask, you are a big man. So, like, where does that athleticism come from that allows you to be able to pull and be just versatile overall as offensive lineman?
Well, of course, I gotta say God, of course, and my parents, but I would really say basketball. I'm a big basketball. I love basketball almost as much as I love football. Like when I get on the basketball court, I play with the same level of competitiveness, because I don't like losing. Even on like losing on the basketball court, it gives me the same feeling I do when I lose on a football court. So being able to move on the court and stay in front of dudes that were 100, 200 pounds smaller than me and faster than me kind of really helped with my feet and my lateral quickness just to be able to run and stuff.
And so now, because I wasn't aware that you played basketball. So for those who might not have been aware, how would you describe your basketball game?
I would say I'm more of a smart player because I don't got bounce. I'm not gonna jump 40 inches in the air and dunk on somebody. I'm not gonna go out to the 3-point line and out dribble you and dribble around you. I'm one of those dudes. You give me the ball, I got the IQ. I'm gonna pass the ball out of the post, out of a double. Every once in a while I'm gonna get my buckets. I'm gonna get some rebounds. I'm gonna move my feet on defense. Really, just kind of a smarter player because I know that there's things on the back that I'm limited because of my size on the court.
Now back on the football front. Now, what I noticed, because like a lot of guys in high school, it seems if they're bigger, they kind of just rely on that. But like I was noticing, you were like pushing guys like 10, 15 yards down the field, and I'm just like, damn, so where does that come from? Because you could have easily have just stopped at a certain point. But like I noticed you would keep going, or you would make sure you would get this pancake in. So like where does that kind of, I guess, ability to finish come from?
Well, I don't know what this feeling like being able to put another like a grown man on the ground or in the ground. And then like just now I'm the dominant one and I'm like laughing because like I'm not gonna talk trash. I'm just gonna laugh at them when I do it. Like I don't know why I love that feeling. Doesn't matter. Like just like I get a rush. Like, and of course I'm not a receiver, but when I do something like that, like I don't get the ball, but when I do something like that, I feel like ooh, like snap. Somebody saw that. I know somebody did. Like I know my dad up there, my mom up there, they seeing this, and like just being able to put on for my family and just show my teammates what I can do and stuff, really.
And so when you look back on your time at Carl Albert from a football standpoint, what kind of sticks out to you the most?
I would say one thing that sticks out to me the most is like really just like the consistency. And I'll say like the tradition that Carl Albert has. Like most teams, they listen to music in the locker room, they blare the music and stuff. But like when we were in our locker room before the game, it was like no talking, it was quiet. Like, people gonna chirp every once in a while, but most people, everybody locked in, they got their own like flow going, and just really the fact that we were able to consistently do that, like just be focused and locked in on the games that we played all the time was really one thing like I can look back and say that's helped me through my college journey, like just trying to stay consistent, trying not to mess up on the same thing every day, trying to outwork the person next to me, trying to win, trying to like just wanting to win and stuff, like, yeah.
And so when you were making your college choice here, what was it about UCO that made you decide that's where you wanted to play your college football?
I would say some of it has something to do with the area. Like I like Edmond, but I say I never really used to go to Edmond, but when I did, I would always like it. And then the last year, I liked Coach Bobek. But I say the last year's coach, I really liked Coach Bobek, and I had a few friends that were going there, people I grew up with, like dudes I've known since I was in grade school, and like them kind of like letting me know like they're not gonna do you wrong, like bro, like just listen, like, and my family, that really helped picking UCO over all the other colleges that offer me.
And what I found really impressive about you, because now you're not only making a jump from high school to college, but it's tough in the trenches, because I know a lot of times it's bigger guys. MIAA is a big physical conference. You were able to come in there, make an impact, and start as a freshman. So what do you think allowed you to be able to come in and make an early impact?
I would say one thing I prided myself on as in my freshman season was like versatility, because coming in, the previous O-line coach had me as a guard, and then like at a scrimmage one day he said, okay, you playing tackle. Like I hadn't worked on it, but I played tackle in high school, and just being able to go from putting my hand in the ground to now being in a 2-point, like, and then learning the plays and stuff, and having teammates help me. But most of all, really the versatility. Like I just being able to play more than one position.
And now you mentioned the move from tackle to guard and then back. So like what would you say was the most difficult part about moving from guard to tackle and vice versa?
Well, my sophomore year of high school, I played guard, so like it kind of wasn't too different, and I've always been able to put my hand in the ground. But I'll say like when I got there and I was playing guard, I kind of had to get used to some of the old like setting people differently, because a lot of dudes in the trenches, like in the interior 3, they're not as fast as those edge rushers. So I can't really lose as much ground because they're stronger. So they'll apply a lot more pressure towards the quarterback from the inside. And when they get the pressure, that usually causes sacks. But like really like playing like, and then playing tackle, like tackle's fun. Like that's one thing I will say. Like it's fun being on the island, like being like it's you and him. Like most plays, I'm blocked. Me and him going to get each other the whole game. So, I would say like that. It wasn't really very difficult to move from inside to out, back to outside. So,
okay, and so you prefer tackle over guard?
Yes, I do prefer tackle over guard. Like just for the simple fact, like you just out, like you out there, like. Like I kind of like that pressure, like the fact that I'm the blind side tackle. So if anything goes, like if I mess up, like everything can hit the fan. And I kind of like that pressure, like just knowing that, like I'm not gonna allow that to happen.
True. And so your first start, kind of walk me through what I guess first, like when did you learn you was going to be making the start, and then what was your like emotion and feeling like going into that game?
So it was the week of Northwest Missouri. At the time, they were the number 1 team in the conference. I actually didn't think I was even going to travel because I had slept through a weightlifting one morning that week. So I was like telling my dad, I'm like, man, I'm not going to travel. And then I get there and like we're walking through, and like the day before the game, Coach Green pulls me to the side and he's just like you're starting this game. Like I'm going to need you to step up. And Coach Bobek talked to me, and they just kind of let me know that, like whatever you need, just if you got a question, ask, like don't hesitate. Like everybody's going to be there for you. Just go out there and play football like you know how. And that game, like the score didn't turn out the way we wanted it to, but for my first start, like I wasn't too like, I felt like I made a statement in a way.
And like, so were you feeling extra pressure at that point because you were playing one of the better teams, not in the conference, but in the whole country at that point, and on the road? So like, were you feeling even more pressure, or were you kind of just focusing on the fact that this is my first start and I can't really blow this?
I was focusing more on the fact like it was my first start. I can't blow this opportunity because like they don't just let freshman linemen just come play. Like you got to be able to play to do that. And I just knew that like that if I blew it, it'd probably be like my last time. Like there might not have been a second chance. So I was just kind of thinking of the fact it wasn't a second chance type thing.
And did you notice a difference from your first start to your second start?
Oh yes. By the time after the Northwest game, and like I just noticed like that I was like, whoa, like yeah, I go against those dudes at practice, like Michael Slater, Robert Fuentes. I go against those dudes on a regular basis, and like those dudes are good, but like just knowing I can play, like I can actually play like in a game setting. Like once I realized that, I was just like, oh yeah, like it's raps. Now it was less me thinking about messing up and more me just playing the game I know how to play.
And you mentioned having to go up against those guys. I mean, that's a very good defensive line you got to face every day in practice. So how did going up against those guys help you, not only learn, but, knowing that you're facing one of the better players in the conference every day in practice? How did that help you grow as an offensive lineman?
I would say like them, like just going against them every day, like just the way they are able to mix it up with their moves and like me talking to them about, like I'm talking to them about the moves they're doing to me, and I'm like, oh, like if I see this in the game, like, oh, that dude's not gonna mess me up with this because I see this on a regular. The fact that they're able to incorporate the speed and then switch it up to power, like all in the same play, like that's one thing that made it like real easy to go against a lot of the dudes in our conference because most of the people in our like a lot of the dudes and DNs in our conference weren't as talented as those two.
And the Fort Hayes game, in my opinion, that probably was about the best performance I saw out of the offensive line group against a good opponent for 4 quarters. So, what was working for you all in that Fort Hayes game? Because that was a very big physical front.
I'm be honest, like I just feel like we had went out there and I didn't know what our record was at the time, but I know that we kind of just went out there like we wanted to win. Like everybody was on the same page from walkthroughs that morning till the time the first snap. Like everybody was on the same page. We all had the same goal at the end of the game. Like there was no selfishness. Like it was just straight. We gonna go out there and we gonna dominate them, and then they not gonna be able to do nothing about it.
And I asked your center Len Graham this question, but like it seemed like at times you all were like a mixed bag as a unit because you got like you watched the Fort Hayes game, you watched Northeastern State, you watched Lincoln, you watched parts of the Pitt State and the Central Missouri game, and you all like a very cohesive, dominant unit. Then there's other games I watched like Washburn, Kearney, some of the Missouri Southern game, and it's like it was a different line. So, like, what would you say was kind of I guess, the problem from a consistency standpoint for you all last year?
I would say, really just it was really experience. Like last year, like most of like some of the people that had played, some people that was their first year ever playing, like for real, like or they hadn't played in a while. So it was one of the things like they just didn't have the flow for the game. Like they had been out the game for a little bit and trying to come back into it. Like that's tough. Like people who can not play for 2 years and then come back and play, like I give it up to them. Like that takes real skill. Like you got to have a different type of like skill set to come do that. And I feel like that was really just thing, really experience.
And then like in games like Pitt State and Central Missouri, where it seemed like the second half, especially in that Pitt State game, it was a whole different offensive unit. And that was because you all were better up front. Now, like in those cases, was that more of like you were able to go in the locker room, make halftime adjustments like from a scheme point that allowed you to have success? Or was it more of like, hey, we're dropping the ball here. We need to come out in the second half and show that we can really do this?
I think it was more of a thing of like people like we just like we just like it was just a click. Like that's kind of what it was. Like we just all like when we all clicked on this, we were all on the same page from the beginning of the game, or when we did get on the same page, you can see a definite change in the way the offense was ran.
And so looking back on your first season of college ball, like how do you feel like you did overall? And at that point, when you kind of self-assessed, what did you feel like you needed to improve on most?
I would say I feel like I did. I feel like I had a pretty like average year, just because like the way I feel like I got so much more left because like that was my first year out there. I didn't really have much experience, like especially playing tackle. Like playing tackle, you can't just go out like playing tackle, playing O line in general or any position in the trenches. It takes a lot like experience helps like a lot because you can work on pick up on angles better. Like you're better with the angles because people are faster in college than high school. And really, I feel like one thing I needed to work on most was probably I would say my pass set. Like I feel like my pass blocking was good. Like I didn't give up. I don't know how many sacks I gave up, but I don't feel like I gave up too many sacks or pressures. But I feel like I want to get better at just eliminating people at the line. Like not even giving him the chance to even get to the point where he can pressure or sack the quarterback. You feel me?
And I noticed, like at least for me, watch it felt like you got you well you were good in the run game, but it felt like you got even better in the run game, especially when you were pulling. Like, did you feel like you were improving though week by week as the season went on?
Oh yes, I feel like from week by week, like I feel like I improved drastically from the first time I started playing to my last time I played.
And what would you say was probably the toughest part of your freshman season?
I would say really getting honestly, I'll say fall camp. Like fall camp, that was like being like people would always say like fall camp is not for like it's not easy. And I used to kind of be like, bro, like it's football, like it can't be that hard. But like being up at the facility all day, like doing that, like I would say like that really made you like wonder, like, is this what I want to do? Like, is this what I want to do? Like I'm questioning, but then like just having those teammates, like having Lane, having my teammate Robert Givens, another teammate Montreal Lee, like just having them there, like during fall camp, like it really made it easier just to make it through. But I really say the grind of fall camp was probably the hardest part of the season. Like, yeah, there was nothing compares to fall camp.
And you mentioned Lane. Now Lane, when he came in, he also played and started early as a freshman. So were you able to lean on him? What kind of advice was he able to give you to help you throughout the course of the season?
Lane kind of Lane basically just told me like, you know the plays, you know all the plays, you know what to do, you know when to do it. Now it's just based off of whether you're gonna go do it or not. Like we know you can do it, they know you can do it, like the coaches know you can do it, so go prove all of us right. And that's basically what he would tell me. Like he would just kind of be in my corner because he felt how I was feeling like being like since he played as a freshman, like he knew exactly how I was feeling.
And so Coach Bubbeck, he steps down. Coach Doral comes in. When Coach first spoke to you all, first met you all, what was your first impressions of him?
I knew like when I first met Coach Doral, I think it was I can't remember exactly, but when I first met him, I was like he fit like I can tell everything he was saying, he was honest, like he was honest. Like I could tell that he wasn't he wasn't selling us a story. I say because there's some coaches they sell stories to people, but I can tell Coach Doral what he was saying. He meant what he was saying. He wasn't trying to sell us a dream, let us believe something, and then do something else when it was all said and done. He was just a real honest guy.
And then shortly after, once right there, but a few months after that, it was spring, and he's the offensive line coach. So
Mm-hmm.
what was spring like? Kind of getting to know him as your position coach, and how was that? How was spring for you?
I would say spring for me. I feel like I learned more in spring this past spring than I did like about just like pass sets, like angles on runs, like just learning all that stuff like from Coach Doral. Like, I feel like I learned more this past spring than I almost have my whole life. Like things that I wish I would have knew back when I was in high school type. And I feel like Coach Doral really helped like refine the skills that I already had and help me develop ones that I hadn't already developed.
Now, when I talked to Lane, he mentioned how he likes this new blocking scheme more. He feels like it fits you all better. Would you agree with him on that?
I feel like I agree completely. Like I feel like the new blocking scheme actually makes it easier for you can see the strengths in the players. Like it brings out the strengths in every O lineman. Cause like there's gonna be some O linemen who not as good at certain things, but the way we block it makes it to where we're all moving as a unit and not one person doing good, another person doing all right, another person getting whooped. Like we all moving more as a unit now.
And similar to secondary on defense, I feel like a lot of followers, supporters, fans might point to you all as kind of like the unit that kind of held the offense back. Now, looking forward into the season now, is there like a chip on you all's shoulder to kind of go out there and prove that you all are a good offensive line that shouldn't really be defined by last year's up and down season?
Oh, of course. I feel like I feel like there's some of my teammates that were redshirt freshmen last year. I feel like there's some of them like they're about to come out. They're about to show everybody like that I'm here now. And I feel like as an O line, like we're just gonna go out there and we're just gonna let people know like this isn't the same group. Like we're gonna mash people. Like that's honestly how I feel. Like based off of how spring went, I feel like there's nothing stopping us but us if we want to go out there and mash every opponent and rush for 250 yards a game.
And what do you feel like you need to improve on most, I guess, heading into fall camp?
Really, I feel like as a team, I feel like we need to improve more. Really, just like building more of a bond. Like right now, we got a bond right now. Like our bond now is stronger than it was when I first got here. But I feel like when we get to the point where we're playing more for each other, I feel like when you playing for the dude next to you, it makes you want to work harder because you know that he's dependent on you at the end of the day. And personally, I feel like really just stepping up as a leader, like because some of the dudes that's going to be playing, they haven't played. And I'm kind of like not a vet necessarily because I haven't been in the game that long, but I have experience. So me just helping like some of my teammates who don't have as much experience and just being more of a vocal leader.
Now, you just mentioned being a leader. I was going to bring that up, so I'm glad you did. Now, do you feel like that's going to be something that's necessarily easy for you, but do you feel like it's a role you can kind of grow in, or is it going to be something that you're going to have to kind of like dig deep within yourself to be able to kind of do that?
I think it's a role that I'm going to be pretty like. I think it's going to be something that's going to come naturally to me, just because I'm naturally a person. I'm gonna bond with my teammates. Like I like to bond with my teammates. I like laughing. It doesn't matter what position, what side of the ball. Like if you my teammate, we gonna be cool. You could talk to me about anything. Like outside of football, on the football field, it doesn't matter. Like I'm gonna just be there for you because I feel like that's what all great leaders are. They're there for their teammates.
And then you also mentioned that you wanted to bond more as a unit. So like how can you all go about doing that?
I would say like we've been doing like team bonding type stuff, like fun stuff with the our teammates, and like we're out there on the field, like talk bonding, like laughing at practice. Like I see a corner makes a play on the ball, and I'm chasing after him and stuff. Like obviously I'm not gonna catch the corner; he's gonna outrun me, but I'm chasing after him, laughing, doing a little like being competitive with the defense, like the offensive line being competitive with the defensive line, and the offense being competitive with defense, like that competitive nature. Like I feel like that's going to help us bond.
And as a tackle, that you could mention your blind side. Now the QBs in the running, there's different styles because obviously Steph's a runner. Caleb and JD are more of your pocket passers. So like it does that kind of change not necessarily like your approach, maybe like how you go about blocking when there is a guy like Steph who likes to extend plays, likes to get out of the pocket compared to someone like JD or Caleb that's probably going to stand in there and make a throw from the pocket.
Honestly, I don't think it matters who's in them, like who's back there throwing the ball, like whether it's a player like Steph or a player like JD and Caleb. I feel like it shouldn't matter. It should be more of a thing of I'm going to block it the way I know I need to block it, and I'm going to handle my man, whether Steph wants to roll out or Steph wants to set up, or whether JD and Caleb want to roll out or they want to stay in the pocket. You see what I'm saying?
With that, because like there were times last year with Steph, and Steph said it himself, he'd run around a tad bit too much. Now, like in times like that, how do you kind of keep staying on your man? Because I know like it's very tough because normally there's like a clock, and after a certain point, it gets kind of tough to keep holding your man. So when that thing happens, when stuff kind of breaks down like that, how are you kind of able to still defend your man?
I would say, honestly, it's one of them things like I don't know what he's doing back there. So I just got to play as if he's setting up in the pocket every time. You see what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, let's say I do try to play it as if he's going to scramble, but he sets up in the pocket. Boom, that could be like he could get hurt, and that's going to be on my conscience. The fact that me trying to think, well, he's a scrambler, so I'm going to let him get by me, and then I'm going to let him work, and he's going to throw some nice pass like Patrick Mahomes or something. Like, no, I need to just – I feel like you really just got to block it the same way every time, and just if he rolls out, then, just try to find some work, try to stay with him. But if you can't and he takes off past the line of scrimmage, chase the ball.
And I guess my final football-related question would be, well, okay, actually before that, so like now you mentioned just blocking. Now, when that happens, is there like, because there, you can't pass a certain line when you're pass blocking. So how do you kind of keep note of that? I feel like it's kind of tough in the heat of the battle, kind of keep note of where you are and where you can't cross.
I think I've just been doing it for so long. Like I kind of have like a natural feel for it. Like been playing football since I was 9, so kind of it's more of a thing of like it's like an automatic. It's instinctive. It's built in me that snap, I can't go past this certain point because the ball is not past the line of scrimmage, stuff like that.
And I guess my final football-related question for you would be, what are your goals for this upcoming season?
This upcoming season, I want to show everyone in the MIAA that this is not the same UCO team from last year. I want to win a national championship. I want to be conference championship. Like I just want to win, and I want to win, and I want to do it. I want to do it in a way like that. Like there's like all the naysayers from last year. I just want to let them know like. This like we doing this because all y'all.
Well, but before I get you out of here, we do this with all the new guests, kind of get to know you type questions. So, your favorite sports team?
My favorite sports team? What sport? Does it matter?
No, it could be any sport.
All right, I'm gonna say the Los Angeles Lakers.
It seems to be a popular answer within the guys now. Okay, so that's this question several times. Are the Lakers going to be better this season?
Only God knows. That's all I can say.
Okay. Now, do you feel like Russ unfairly got a lot of that blame last year for the struggles, or was it kind of deserved?
I feel like it was a lot of it was overboard, honestly. Like people were trying to come for his character and stuff based off of basketball game, like it's a basketball game, like, and they try to say he wasn't efficient. Like he was still more efficient than a lot of these other point guards that are out there. It's just his efficiency shows up a little differently because of the way he's more of a ball dominant guard, like a score first guard, but he can also pass type thing,
And there's been the rumor there about a possible Westbrook Kyrie Irving trade. Now, as a Lakers fan, how do you feel about that? Would you want that trade, or would you prefer that they just kept Westbrook and hope they can get it working with him, LeBron, and a healthy Anthony Davis?
Honestly, I feel like the Kyrie trade, I feel like the Kyrie trade would benefit the Lakers only because if you think of like play style wise, LeBron and Russell Westbrook they kind of play the same role. They both want to score, but they're also going to facilitate. And I feel like bringing in a score first guard, like a guard who's going to go ISO, might pass it, but he's probably going to end up making a shot. I feel like that would help the Lakers out a lot.
And you feel like Darvin Ham is the right coach for this team?
Oh yeah, I feel like it's going. We're gonna see. That's all I can say. We're gonna see. I say
Yeah.
if he's not, the record's gonna show.
So now, like right now in his current state with the additions that they got of Lonnie Walker and Juan Scotto Anderson, do you feel like this is a playoff team?
Yes, I feel like if Anthony Davis stays healthy, LeBron LeBron's gonna do what LeBron does because it's LeBron. Like, let's be realistic. I feel like if LeBron does what he does, and even if Russell Westbrook stays, he kind of takes a little step back, or even if he takes more of a leadership role because LeBron's getting older, or they bring in Kyrie, I feel like this is definitely a playoff team. Like, if you really think about it, you got 3 superstars on one team. There's no reason why you shouldn't make the playoffs. Like, if we're being real, if you're healthy.
Okay, I agree with that statement. Okay. Let's see. Okay, your favorite hobby outside of football.
Besides playing basketball, I do like to I like to read some. I like to read.
Read. Okay. What's your favorite genre?
My favorite genre, I would say fiction. I like fiction books. Like, I think I used to read a lot of fiction books. Like, I still do. Like, I'll be on my phone, see some, read like a whole article about something I know it's not real. Like, but I just like I like stuff like that. So,
do you have a favorite book?
I do. I would say my favorite book ever is The Great Gatsby. I read it in high school, my junior year, and ever since I read that book, and I also watched the movie so I can have an idea. That's been my favorite book to this day. Like, I don't think I've read that book 3 or 4 times. Like, since then, like, that book hands down is excellent.
Okay. Let's see your favorite TV show.
Phineas and Ferb.
Okay. Okay. Now your favorite Phineas and Ferb character.
Ooh, Perry the Platypus. Like,
Perry is pretty nice. Perry is pretty nice.
Like, nobody without Perry, with the show wouldn't even be the same. Honestly, like, he's just as important as every other, like Phineas and Ferb. Literally, like, he's just as important as them.
Okay. Let's see. Now, are you a gamer at all?
I play the game every once in a while. Like, it's hard for me to sit down and play the game as much as I used to, because like ever since I got to college, I sleep. Like, any chance I get where I don't have homework or football, I'm sleeping. So, but I do like to play the game.
Now, are we Xbox or PlayStation?
I do have an Xbox, but listen. So I got an Xbox, but I play a lot of PlayStation. Like, I can switch it up. Like, I grew up with a PlayStation, got an Xbox. Like, I'm not gonna be one of those Xbox people who get the remote and go, what's going on? Like, I pressed the wrong button. Like, nah. It's all the same. It's the same. I know what buttons I'm pressing. It's all gonna be the same.
Well, okay. Well, now, which do you prefer though? Did you prefer the Xbox or the PlayStation?
I say PlayStation, just because like a lot of the new features Sony has added, like the fact that your P5 you can connect your Apple Music to it. Like, I like that. Like, I can't do that on my Xbox. I just gotta listen to my SoundCloud or my Spotify, which is fine. But like, imagine me having my Apple Music playlist. Like, I get right for real. I'm not losing ever. Type.
And so, what's your game of choice?
My game of choice. Lately I've been playing a lot of Mortal Kombat, but I say, of course, Madden 2K. Like, I'm all right. I'm a boring Madden player. That's what I've been told. I'm gonna throw it right at you and not care. I'm gonna run the ball. I see the A gaps open. I'm gonna run the ball in the A gap. I'm a very boring player. I'm a check down guys. And in 2K, I can't dribble in 2K. I can't dribble or shoot. So I'm gonna hit you with one crossover, and it's gonna be drive, kick, and hopefully I hit an open shot. Hopefully, because most times I miss.
Now, in Madden, who's your team of choice?
Ooh, I've never actually had a favorite team, like favorite NFL team. But I would say one of my favorite teams to play with is probably the Cardinals. When they're healthy, the Cardinals, you can do some damage. I'm about to say you got Buda Baker, Isaiah Simmons on defense. What was that dude's name from Tulsa?
Oh, Zayvon
Uh,
Collins?
yeah, Zaven Collins. You got Chandler Jones, JJ Watt, Byron Murphy. Like, they got depth. That defense, they got some depth. And don't even get me started on when they had James Conner had like a new burst of like energy when he went there. Chase Edmonds at running back, another dude. Christian Kirk, Andy Isabella, DeAndre Hopkins. Like, they just got a squad. Like, you can really go crazy if you know how to use them properly. Like, honestly.
Now, when I talk to Jonathan Mosley, now he says that he's pretty nice and mad. Now I gotta ask, have you played him head to head? And if so, is he as good as he came on here and claimed that he is?
Mosley, I've never lost to Mosley. I've played Mosley maybe 5 times, and every time we play, it's always, bro, there's something wrong with my remote. Like, what's wrong with the game? Like, every time I played him online, I played him play now. Like, I've never lost to Mosley.
Like, well, this is interesting because I believe first he told me he had a secret playbook that always works. Then I think he said he's like either number 1 or number 2 in terms of Madden players on the team. So kind of learning here that his information wasn't too accurate.
All right, let me tell you this. Everybody on the football team thinks they're good at Madden. To me, I'm not even that good. I'll admit, I'm not that good. Like, I'm all right. But if you ask every player on that team, for the most part, they're going to say, well, I'm like the best. I'm top 2. That's what they're going to say. So kind of that statement is completely invalid. Completely. Like, there's no fact to back up that opinion at all.
Well, okay. Well, we heard it here.
Yeah.
All right. No one just breaking news. Okay. All right. Let's see now. Okay. Now it's funny that you mentioned Xbox because so far, out of the people I've talked to, the only 2 Xbox players that at least admitted there was Xbox players was Coach Curley, and Coach Curley told me that Coach Dorrell's an Xbox guy. So yes. I think you're the third.
Coach Dorrell is he tells us how he's playing Battlefield at 12 o'clock in the morning. So yeah, he's a big Xbox guy.
So, now you mentioned that you're both. Now I'm also both. I think I started with a PS2, went to the 360, and then I didn't go to the PS4. I went to the Xbox One, and then I also have a PS3. So when did that jump kind of happen for you from the PlayStation to the Xbox?
So I grew up PlayStation 2. I've had multiple PlayStation 3s. And then from PlayStation 3, I remember I had my friend, one of my best friends to this day, he had an Xbox 360. I want to play with him so I got the Xbox 360, and then he got the Xbox One. So I'm about to get the Xbox One. So he got the Xbox One, I got the Xbox One, and that's really kind of where it went. But I've always kept my PlayStation roots. So that's why it's no difference. It's no difference.
Okay. Let's see. Okay, your favorite musical artist?
Ooh, Meek Mill. For sure, okay. Meek Mill.
Okay, now your favorite Meek Mill song?
Either 1942 Flows or, of course, Dreams versus Nightmares. Dreams and Nightmares. My fault. Dreams and Nightmares. Okay. Like, that's a classic. You can't go wrong with that song.
Okay. Let's see. Your favorite food?
My favorite food? I'll probably say any pasta. If we're being, all pasta for the most part. I'll eat it.
Okay. Let's see. You have any pregame routines or rituals that you normally do?
So before every game, I kind of like to. I can't. It's like a chaotic because it's never the same, but it's always kind of the same. Like, so before every game, I'm gonna get a foam roller from the weight room. I'm gonna roll out my back, and then I'm gonna lay there with the foam roller under my head and fall asleep for about 10, 15 minutes before I get taped. I did that before every game this past season. And I'll have my AirPods in, listening to some Meek, Lil Baby, Lil Durk, whatever's on. You might even catch me listening to some old school. Like I'm gonna play whatever pops on, and I'm just gonna vibe while I'm laying there.
Okay, now you mentioned old school. Now, when you say old school, like who are we talking about?
I would say from late 80s to early 2000s. I've listened. I listened to it all. But I say my mom every Sunday, if it was any day it was time to clean, I heard some SWV. I knew that was coming on. I knew it was time to clean up the house. I knew I needed to wake up. Like it was just a routine.
Yeah, I know. Peyton mentioned that he's an old school lover.
Yeah.
I think Lane also is an old school lover in some regards. So, like, do you all ever like chop it up about that?
Oh, Pete. Well, I don't actually not really, but like I'll say like there's if it's in the locker room, somebody hooks up to the aux, plays some old school music, it's going the whole locker room. But for the most part, everybody's gonna sing the song, especially those two.
Okay, now you mentioned getting the aux. Now, is there pressure when you have the aux to make sure that you don't play something that might not really be held in high regard?
Yes. If you feel like there's no pressure when you get the aux, it means you must be a psychopath. Like you can't just play anything on aux. Like there's some things you can get away with because like some people might vibe with, but it's not the day of the game and somebody turns on it goes to the next song and we hearing Baby by Justin Bieber. Like that's not gonna fly. Like that will not fly at all.
Oh, now so like does the time matter? So like if you have the aux on a game day or like the aux maybe like I don't know like before practice or during a downtime, like is there like a grace period where you can kind of play that and maybe get away with it, or is it just like you have to bring your A game every time you have the aux?
So game days, no grace period at all. You're definitely not playing that. But let's say it's after practice. So basically, you wait for everybody to kind of clear through the locker room after the offensive lift. You wait for everybody to clear through, and it's probably like 6, 7 people in there. And these are people who are music, like because you got to think some people, they only like one type of music. But when those people who like different types of music, they can flow to anything. Then you say, all right, let me turn on some of that Justin Bieber, or let me turn on some of that Brent Fayence or something, or the Bryson Tiller. Like that's when you can do that. But any other time, like you probably gonna get some people singing, but for the most part, somebody probably gonna go up there and unplug your phone. That happens. That I've seen it happen multiple times. Like who's on? They'll be like, who's playing this? Man, somebody changed this, bro. Hey, go get their phone off the aux. Like you can kill somebody's mood if you play the wrong song.
Wait a minute. That's what they just straight up go and remove the phone from the aux?
Yeah. Your phone, they unplug your phone and they just set it right next to the aux and they plug theirs in. And you can come grab it when you're ready.
Wow.
You can't be seen grabbing it. You got to kind of slide up there, inconspicuous. You got to be sneaky like a ninja.
I was about to ask. I was like, because I feel like at that point,
it happens to me. It's happened to me before, so I know from experience. I had to slide up there. I'm like, oh dang. I'm like, man, I knew I shouldn't have played that. Like that's a little too much. Like nah.
Oh, well, I can do things now. One, what was the song that got your aux pulled? And number two, I mean, you're a big guy, so how are you kind of able to sneak and slide up there to get your phone?
Let's just say I give me a little rolly chair. I kind of roll by as I'm like, looks like I'm grabbing something else, like the TV remote. Yeah, but what song was it? I think I actually had turned on some. I think I actually did play Justin Bieber. Yeah, I actually did, and that was oof. Then they just unplugged my phone and set it up there. And I kind of zoomed by on one of the little rolly chairs. Like I say, it was real quick, like to the point like some of my teammates didn't even think it was my phone. If they would have they would have unlocked it. They probably would have saw my face. But hey, it wasn't gonna get me.
Wait, okay, now I just want. How did you think though that was gonna slide? I mean, I just feel like Justin Bieber wouldn't be something that you would play in that scenario. You know what I mean?
But it wasn't just any Justin Bieber song. It was Never Say Never. So it had Jaden Smith on there. And I ride to that song in my car right now. Like anyone who knows, if you get in my car, like you probably gonna hear something, you're gonna be like, what is he listening to? But I'm really vibing to it. Like I know most of the words to that song.
Okay. Now, I would have to ask this that way. Who is the best on the aux and who is the worst?
Ooh. I would say Steph and Slate, most definite. They get it right. But I say Slate, they both incorporate that G Herbo. And I say maybe the worst. I'll be honest. Only reason I said the worst, not because his music sucks, it's just compared to everyone else who gets on the aux, I say Jace Gardner. But it's like his music taste is good though. He'll play some heat, but like he'll play like maybe like for me at least, he'll play like maybe 1 or 2 songs, like that's some heat, and then the rest is like like a lot of us know this for real.
No, it's funny you mentioned James when he came on. When he had this in-depth discussion where he pointed out to the board behind him about how he listened to this artist and this artist. Yeah. And then he came and at first tried to pretend like old Lil Wayne was better than new Lil Wayne. Then when I questioned him on it, he changed his tune to old Lil Wayne was then better than new Lil Wayne. So now I've asked this to everybody. Are you in the old Lil Wayne camp or the new Lil Wayne camp?
Let me think. I gotta think of every song, like even feature old Lil Wayne. I'm in the old Lil Wayne.
Yeah.
It's
just funny you mentioned Jason.
Yeah.
That's great. that is great. Let's see. Okay, now in terms of gear, now are we one of these guys that's just simple? Just give me the helmet and the shoulder pads. Let me get out there. Or are we like a Jonathan Mosley, Trayvon Craig, where you got to be dressed?
I've been seeing Mosley go crazy on gear since I was a freshman in high school. So, like, I know exactly how Mosley gets. But I'm more of a low key. I'm a low key lineman. Got to have the matching undershirt. If I got a shirt on under, like, I got to have the matching undershirt that goes with whatever. Like, usually I try to match it with my shoes. So I'll have like shoes, one color, undershirt, the same color as the shoes, and then you got the jersey. Or I'll try to match it the way the jersey is, like, but I'm kind of simple. This season I'm thinking about trying some new stuff, like not wearing lineman gloves, like more of a no glove wrist tape. You never know, some turf tape. Yeah. I've been seeing, or the long sleeve. The long sleeve is a most definite. Like, I'm gonna have to give me some of that match for sure.
Now, I mean, you going no gloves here. I mean, this is like a rarity now for offensive linemen. Mo got the gloves on here. You're going no gloves now. I mean, it's kind of a risk there, and you kind of, taking a chance with the hands though.
If I do go no, let's say this, the gloves sometimes they do tend to get in my way because like I'm trying to do some stuff and my hands sweat. So I would say if I do go gloves, they're not going to be O-line gloves. They're probably going to be like, if they are some smaller gloves, they're going to be like some maybe slightly padded receiver gloves. I can get away with that. I think maybe possibly.
Okay. And I was told by Peyton that Johnny Manziel IV always has some fire gloves. Would that be an accurate assessment?
You said running backs?
No, I said that Johnny Manziel always has some crazy looking.
Oh yeah, JB last year he had the Joker Jones. They had the Joker. Yeah, that was tough. Like JB's gonna have some nice gloves, like for sure.
Yeah, I gotta ask because you came right as the white helmets got here. Now before that, we had been lobbying for the white helmets. They would not say we were getting the white helmets. They wouldn't deny it. So I gotta ask: the all whites are clean, but are you hoping that the blue helmets return? So for the home games, you all can go all blue.
I do want to wear the blue helmet. When I say we wore that white helmet, I think every game.
You did,
and it kind of got a little played out. But I'm hoping that we get the blue helmets and get some. That'll be nice. Like got the all blue helmet. You got the white socks, the blue pants, blue. I can already see it now. It's just I'm ready. I'm ready.
And are you also hoping for a return of the yellow pants? Because Peyton brought to my attention that you didn't wear the yellow pants last year. It was either blue or white, which I did not realize. So are you hoping for a return of the yellow pants as well?
You see, I've never seen the yellow pants. That goes to show how old Peyton is. He's an old man compared to me. But I want to see what they're talking about before we just wear them. Let me get a glimpse. Let me see how the yellows match up, and then we can talk after that. But I didn't even know we had yellow pants. That like he's definitely a veteran.
Wait, it's so like that. Wait, it's so like so even during like the recruiting process, like there was never a picture with somebody had on the yellow pants.
No, I didn't see any yellow pants at all.
Wow, it just buried the yellow pants. They used to
they just tossed them under the bottom of the little drawer, you know.
Oh, that's tough. They used to be like a staple. I like literally every home opener would be blue helmet, gray jersey, and yellow pants, and I would throw the yellow pants to the curb. Oh, that's tough. Okay, let's see. I guess my final question for you would be, do you have a message for those that might still be on the fence about coming to see you all play, about what they could expect to see from you all if they came out and watched?
All I would have to say to that is you're going to be missing the show if you don't show up.
Well,
that's all I got to say.
Okay, well, that is okay. That's well. I appreciate you taking time to come on and talk to me. I had a really good time, and I'm wishing you the best of luck. Rest of the off season into fall camp. I'm really looking forward to seeing the offensive line. Just talking to you,
thank you.
Lane, Coach Curley, and Coach Lechtenberg. They all seem to be positive vibes. They all seem to say you all had a good spring, and I'm looking forward to seeing what you all do this year. And if you ever want to come on again, I'll be more than happy to bring you back on.
All right, thank you. Thank you for having me. But I appreciate being on this. I was actually just talking to my mama about this the other day, so it I appreciate that for real.
Well, no problem. No, I appreciate you taking time to come on, and glad you had a good time. That's always what we aim for, and so like I said. So if you ever want to come back on again, because we've had Dante on numerous times, we've had Steph on numerous times. So I more than happy to come back on and chop it up with you.
All right, bet. Thank you. I really do appreciate it.
No problem. Thank you, Noah.
Thank you.